First, I would like to have a moment of silence for all of our military and police who care for our nation and our town every day. Now.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have public comments. Peters?
Hello, counselors. I'm going to give you the same spiel I gave you last month. Just got to mention it. I have expressed concern regarding the 6.52 acres that's going to be developed along Dills Bluff Road, behind Casanos and the dollar store, the General Dollar. I don't want to mention the TMS parcel numbers, but I think we know what we're talking about here. I'm concerned for the flooding. I'm concerned for the crime that's going to come in if we develop it. Concerned for what little bit of green space we have left that we're going to be building up here on James Island. And if we do build it, I would like to see us do something better with it. I understand that it's got to go through the Board of Zoning Appeals and then go to the Planning Commission and then eventually come to you guys and all that. But we need to do something better than what it's possibly being sold for. So I propose a green space that benefits the town, its residents, and what can improve the quality of life here on James Island. So thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all we have. Signed up to speak. Next, affordable housing research update.
Thank you. A pleasure to see everybody again. I have handed out what we were able to discover. This really was kind of a detective process for us trying to figure out where people were, where the county was, where potential funding would be, and how there would be collaborative partnerships. So it kind of started. Troy asked me because he was thinking of trying to implement some affordable housing process here in Holland, which is very admirable. And when I was on county council, towards when I was not going to be on county council, this notion kind of started to get some legs. We, as a council, were not fully embracing it because we didn't think that it was in our mission statement. But now everybody is, and apparently it's in everybody's mission statement. So the next issue is how do you do it, and importantly, like everybody wants to know, how do you pay for it? So this little memorandum takes us through a little walkabout of how the county came up with this document, which is deliberative, done by an outside consultant group. It's actually stamped a draft from January, so I don't think that this is quite finished. But so what happened was the county had a couple of different bits and starts. They started out this housing and neighborhood revitalization program, and then staff kind of came and went, and and they ultimately came up with, the Department of Community Development Revitalization, and now they have the people in place who, the fully staffed, can communicate with different government officials. Charleston County has $20 million from the rescue plan. They are committed to spending that money. Actually, they got $80 million from the plan. They dedicated $20 million to affordable housing. How that money is allocated is going to be kind of, y'all got to go grab it. You know, kind of typical of what we've seen over the last, you know, years is that you gotta go in there, elbow your way in and grab it and make yourself relevant. So we also, Troy and Aaron, whomever, had targeted a couple pieces of property. I think maybe this thing kind of arose because there were some dilapidated properties, and somebody said, "Hey, wouldn't it be a good idea if we could keep those fixed up and get those into affordable hands?" Conceptually, it sounds like a good idea. Practically, it's not quite as simple because it's still private property. You still have to figure out how to get it if you can. Y'all don't tax, so that was the money situation in the county, which we potentially solve. So we targeted. This is on page 2. If you want to look at the addresses. These properties, Seaside, League, Kentwood, Harborview Road. I think I drive by Harborview, by that property a lot. I think that has since been fixed up. The last one is Godbur. I think that would maybe in the process of being fixed up as well. It shows it being sold at a delinquent tax sale. So somebody's going to get it and own it and fix it up. 807 League, John Ritter, I actually know him. John, I mean, so John doesn't have any. John's not going to lose his property. He's not going to. He pays his taxes. I don't know what he does with it ultimately, but he like to keep ownership. So these things all have their taxes paid, which is a indication that people are aware of it, and some of these properties might be heir properties. Somebody's paying the taxes. Except for Godbur, which is hopefully taxes. But so we were looking at it kind of in a couple of different like targets, which would be are they available? Are they available? And then the next would be at what cost, or can we do some sort of a public-private, partnership? We sent a draft letter over to y'all, which was basically a draft to some of these property owners asking whether they would be interested in selling their property. We didn't send it out because we didn't know whether y'all wanted us to. Obviously, I think it was probably premature if we didn't have the money to buy it anyway. Okay. So these properties, I think properties targeted by us, by y'all, they are not really gonna be great candidates. So maybe they will under some sort of a scenario. So the county, this plan that they're looking at has got a number of different options or goals. The goals I think are important. One is buying properties and renting them. I don't think the town particularly wants to be in the real estate business. I don't think the county should be in the real estate business either. The other is trying to find ways to help people with their down payments. The other is trying to find ways to get people money to fix their houses up. Another is working with contractors who would buy the property themselves, fix it up, and then rent it at a lower rate. So these are things that are in here that are options that seek to realize the ultimate goal of helping the not necessarily underprivileged, but the folks who are right at that level where affordable housing certainly system and make their lives different. So what we did was, which actually turns out to be kind of a simple solution after we figured out who the players were. On the last page, so last paragraph actually. So Luella Smalls now fully in her position. Overseeing New York. We talked to her, she's great, she's very accessible. I think she's happy to be now go-to lady, go-to person. Because before it keeps kind of kept moving around. Christian Durant had her for a while anyway. But so we think that the town in some capacity, whether it be in the subcommittee or whether it be Joe Quayle or Bo Wilson or whomever, needs to go and start the process of dealing with her. But before you do that, we need to have set goals, which I think there's a lot of goals in here, you know. But I think the county is going to be dealing with all the cities and whatever, whomever, under the same auspices as be doing. So there's going to be a set of parameters. There's going to be application process and stuff like that with the county. Somebody needs to figure out what those are going to be. You know, subcommittee, lawyer, me, whomever. But the smoke is starting to clear a little bit. And when it does, there's going to be a lot of people running up to see Ms. Smalls and trying to get more line for this. So that's kind of a summary of our you know, digging and trying to figure out, so that's what y'all need to do if you want to participate in the affordable housing process on the island.
Thank you, for doing that research on the study.
Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, thanks a lot for going through this process. I know
You're welcome.
Imagine Charleston County,
This
and
is online. Okay? You want to print it out, look at it. Yeah, anyway, but it's very difficult to read on your computer.
so what would we need to do right now to interface with Charleston County? Because the list of properties that we have here, if they have $20 million, it would be worthwhile to at least figure out what the process
So
is.
exactly.
In the first place. Having properties identified seems like we're already kind of ahead of where we need to be.
Yeah, I think so.
So the idea now is, how do we go ahead and put it into play? And if that's for us to figure out, I'm sure we could do a subcommittee and figure out how to do that. But it would be ideal for the county to give us some direction on what they're looking for with respect to the award.
Well, the county is right now kind of putting that plan in place. They don't really haven't done it quite yet. I do not think. So maybe they'll have a lot of times, some of y'all will get up there to visit with them, but you know, I think the thing to do is just to get in line as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think it's a real emergency situation. Because young people cannot get their foot in the door to own or much less rent real estate here on James Island. So in order for people to have a place to live here, we've got to do something to ensure that that can happen. And whatever plan it is, we need to try to accommodate more people who are just starting out. And I think that that's a real issue here. That's one that we kind of have a responsibility as a government to do something. It's not the fact that these are people that are working full-time jobs that can't afford property in James Island.
Or college graduated children. I mean, I know I can think it's like.
Yeah, correct. That's what I'm talking about.
Finally, place to live, I promise.
That would be a wonderful.
Well, they've got a couple, you know, like 5 different kind of options that the state in here, they don't say that any of them have implemented yet, but now it's fine.
Oh, yeah. Well, first, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done. And now you've looked into this very well, and I appreciate it. And the biggest thing that I see in this, which I'm very pleased, is that the county seems to be getting some traction on what they're trying to do. Because time goes by fast. I don't remember how long ago it was, but we voted Mr. Rand, probably 2 years ago. Then they hired that gentleman who was so good, and then that fell through. They were just,
It's like they're people.
it's like they were just like a car stuck in mud, just spinning.
Well, council also was not fully committed. That's what I think was the problem.
And it looks like there is something,
Now they are.
just this small, can be a point of order to start with. And so I'm just kind of pleased at the county, because all along my idea was getting with the county, but then the county, we looked like it was gonna fall through. That's when I kind of wanted to see what we could do. And now it's like the county is at least slow, but getting back in a position that it might.
I think so. I think it's very positive.
And they have one.
Yes, yes.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see everybody. Good to see you. Well, Wilson, good to see you, my friend.
All right, now we go to the consent agenda, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? That passes. Next, we have the development report.
Good to see you.
Carol?
Well, this is the final budget report. They're not complete, but final. Hospitality and lost, just show May. We have received a check for $67,000 for hospitality, for June. It doesn't show up on this report, but, we are still, expecting, check from city, subdivisions and several other checks. Probably be accruing for another couple of months. We expect the auditors first week in October, but by the time they come here at this point, we're almost done because they're able to see our books and we work back and forth for a long time. But that's all I know.
Any questions? Thank you very much. All right, next, we go to, town administrator's report.
We were issued our dock repair permit by DHEC, so now the next step will be push it out and seek some quotes for making it stable and potentially accessible to the public. If that's something that you all want to move forward with. If not, we have a really great at Franklin Park. We are close to finishing out phase 1 out there at the park with the city of Charleston. It's been a very long process, but I hope to have that cleared up by the end of the summer, and maybe we can plan a nice opening celebration. We were granted by the South Carolina General Assembly $1 million towards the James Island Creek watershed restoration project. So that's really great news. I am in contact with the state agency and with the North Infrastructure Authority, who will be administering us the funds to kind of find out what if there's any certain specifications that we need to keep in mind when using this fund, so we can come up with a good plan. So that we'll likely do a budget amendment as well. A better idea when we actually receive the funds. We have 2 new employees with us. Mr. Michael Cryan has taken the facilities maintenance position, and we also have Mr. Jaden Sumter, who is a recent graduate from the high school. He is starting with us doing some groundskeeping, going around with Brian, doing public works work, and just kind of really learning about the working world. So I'm really excited to have him. I think he will be a very long-term employee here. I don't know if you all saw it, but the postcards went out for the GoGov citizen request software, so we can get some more traction and information out to our citizens about that. The Camp Prairie Tree Preservation Project, as you'll see later in the packet, there is a request to increase the funding for the cleanup and the removal of the dead wood. It will cost a little bit more than was initially budgeted, and actually a lot of that is just purely for traffic. $9,000. So DOT has the traffic control plans, and they're reviewing that. So as soon as we get that back and this funding is approved, then we can move forward with that. And the Quail Run and Woodhaven drainage projects, those are set to begin in the beginning of August and completed by the end of May of next year. And the Green Hill drainage project is also set to begin towards the beginning of August and is due to be completed by December 1st of this year. Lots of fun camps have been happening over the Art Center, so I think that's been a really nice kind of mix up of the usual programming that goes on over there. So that's been very successful. And last month they had a Piccolo Spoleto event with Mr. Marcus Amaker. Nothing upcoming yet, but I'm sure that schedule will be out very soon.
Any questions? Thank you so much. Next, we'll go to public works report.
Good evening, everyone. This is a report for June. Staff participated in the second quarter of South Carolina Association of Stormwater Managers meeting in Columbia. We also met with other jurisdictions to discuss the city's new hazard mitigation plan. Staff attended the 2023 South Carolina chapter of American Public Works Association conference. Staff attended the annual debris removal kickoff meeting in Charleston County. Had the monthly stormwater managers meeting. The drainage committee will be meeting August 9th. Staff monitored the Ocean View Stone Coast drainage project. There was the utility location causing challenges, replacing the new culvert under Stone Coast Road. Septic tank inspections, 13 new inspections, one of which failed, bringing our total to 76 inspected and 12 failed. Total of 138 inspections are remaining, and I need to go out some of those again to tell them, hey, when you come by your house. Staff placed 4 street signs and filled 2 potholes in June, and that's all I got.
Questions? Thanks. Okay, next, we go to, quick roll report. James.
Good evening. First, August 1st, we have National Night Out. So we hope to see everyone there. So as always, we'll have all of our toys out there, SWAT truck, and we'll actually have something new this year. We'll have Cypher, one of our canines that is he does electrical, it's going to be electronic devices. So he does a lot of our child pornography, all of our cases for crimes against children. So we go into a house and let's say someone hides a real small, like micro, some kind of SD card or something. He can actually slip out SD cards, cameras, things like that. He's highly trained, and there's only a couple dogs like that in state South Carolina. He'll be out here and he'll run through some different things out here. So it's pretty cool to watch. So anyways, don't worry, it doesn't bite. So you don't have to worry about keeping your cell phones on you, which is fine. But I'm really excited. 6 to 8. I'm sure the weather will be just like it is out there right now. So I'm going to shake my head for that. All right. We've got it's a good month, right? I mean, a lot of times we have crime, we don't have arrests. So this past month, we've actually had a lot of arrests that we've had and closed a lot of cases. So we did have on June 13th on Schooner over Lighthouse Point, we have some unlocked vehicles that were entered and rummaged through. Nothing was taken, sticks and fingerprints. We didn't get anything off that. Bojangles, we had a weapons threats incident on June 16th, and there's a bunch of us over here that were working, including some juveniles, and a gun ended up getting pulled with Bojangles, and got there, foot chase ensued. We learned who the suspect was. He was 17 as a juvenile, and we made an arrest, and he was arrested. So he was charged with assault and battery 1st degree, which is very serious. 3rd degree is not. 2nd degree is kind of middle way. 1st degree is very serious, and he was charged with that, possession of a handgun by a person under the age of 18. We had a shoplifting where Mr. Joe McKelvey was locked up from stealing a $20 lottery ticket from behind the counter while the attendant was outside, identified, and he was charged. We had a green Honda Accord that was reported stolen on March 23rd of 2021, so over 2 years ago. It was located and scrapped at the LKQ on Rivers Avenue, and after it hit through NCIC, and we ended up finding out who was stolen, or excuse me, who it was scrapped by. So he ended up being arrested on June 6th. So while we were working on June 19th, I went to stop a vehicle that was coming off of Jeffrey over in that area. I got in pursuit with the vehicle with Brucker. He ended up pulling over after he threw out 2 pounds of marijuana and had 2 guns in the car. They ended up pulling over near Grimble. They were both arrested and charged with several charges. Mr. Derek Roper was charged with attempted armed robbery and possession of weapon during a violent crime. And also DeAndre Dees was charged with attempted armed robbery. And today, Mr. Roper was arrested for another felony for intimidating a witness, and his bond is being revoked. So we like to lock up anybody that's doing armed robberies. Breach of trust, recovered vehicle. We actually recovered a vehicle where a juvenile took the Nissan Sentra on June 22nd, and it was involved in an accident, and the victim is going to press charges. And we had a shoplifting that happened on July 12th. And Miss Kristen Sumner, she was cited with shoplifting after stealing some sunglasses. And last but not least, we did have a stolen firearm on Jeffrey Drive, stolen somewhere between May 1st and July 17th. And he said it's gone missing, he doesn't know where it was at, believes that his cousin's friends may have taken it, and it was entered in CIC. But a lot of arrests, a lot of good things coming out of it. Haven't had a lot of car break-ins, and we're just trying to keep it quiet for the summer, especially while kids are out of school.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
And we'll see everybody there August 1st, 6 to 8. If not, I'll come get you.
Yes.
And we'll bring them.
So now we'll go to request for approval versus Camp Road Tree Conservation Project.
As I mentioned earlier, we got the quote for doing the initial cleanup and maintenance of the trees in the area between the intersection of Delafield and Camp, going along Camp to the intersection of Fort Johnson Road. So that increase would be $8,250 from what was previously approved by you all at $15,000. So the total cost for the project would be $23,250.
For motion to approve,
So moved.
the second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? That passes. Town Hall Municipal Office modification and feasibility study.
And so with, from what I understand, whenever this building was built, the idea was that after this initial construction phase, then options would be looked at to construct the second floor so that they're opposite there. There's some issues that would need to be addressed, like meeting ADA standards for accessibility, so adding some sort of elevator system. Also the potential for having a springboard building because of its size and its occupancy. And over the last year or so that I've been here, there have been some things that I think we could finally tweak to allow us to have some more flexible space. So as we add new staff, or kind of reconfigure things over the years, then we would have some space to move people around. As we are right now, the only real open space that we have to put any new people is in the open area in the back, so that would potentially need to be kind of rolled in or made into cubicles. So this feasibility study would be to look at a lot of different options. I jotted down a list of kind of some needs that we have, if you all are interested in hearing that, but a lot of it is just a lot of ideas. And so with this study, the architect who worked with us on this building originally could do some, digging in to see what it may cost to do adding a second floor. What would it cost to just make some changes to the existing first floor? And then that way, if it seems feasible, then you all could move forward with one of the options.
The motion in favor? The second. Any discussion?
Yes, we have purchased a lot next door. And I wonder if maybe it might be a good idea at this juncture to perhaps add as another consideration, perhaps a planning process for that property as well. Maybe in accordance with thinking about things like public works and these types of things, and places to keep things and that type of thing. In other words, just thinking about maybe additional areas over there. How are we going to utilize that space in the context of heating when we're here? And that's just maybe an add-on. I don't know if that will affect the cost because it's not growing on plans. It's really just trying to think about how we might, from an organizational standpoint, organize it so that that would be effective.
So Councilman Milliken, I suspect we would check this for adding it as a part of the, possibly new building or whatever over on that property. But if we approve this, they can get started and then we can come back with a what would have to, what it would cost to have that, and that comes back to the council in August.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? That passes. Okay, next, request to approve quote to perform electrical work to reinstall license plate reader on Folly Road.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to move this one thing into the next meeting. The contractor needed just a tiny bit more information about the arm, at Eugene Gibbs, as far as how they would connect our license plate reader camera onto the arm when it's tied directly into the electricity on the arm, or would we have to put it to another pole stick? We just needed a tiny bit more time to get that all together, so.
With the motion to defer, is I'll move to defer to second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, so hopefully we'll get that, we'll be ready in August. Committee reports. So first is ladies committee. Environmental communication committee.
The Environment and Beautification Committee did not meet board of James Island 5.
Children's committee, no report. Public safety committee.
We will have our regular meeting next Thursday in lieu of National Night Out event. That's on the reference earlier in this meeting. And we won't have a meeting either in August. Our next scheduled meeting in September. But I hope everyone's able to make it to the National Night Out event. Every other one we've had has really been enjoyable, really nice for everyone to cover for this song. That's all I have.
Thank you. History committee.
They won't meet again until September 12th.
Well, okay, but I would like to nominate, well. Councilman Morgan.
Well, I'd like to nominate Michael Williams as a member of the History Council.
Second.
Second.
On favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so he added on. All right, we think Folly Road was next week.
They actually canceled their June meeting, so they will meet again on August 23rd.
Drainage committee,
Yes, Archie would start the bed, we have our next training meeting on August the 9th. And it's 3:00.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so and we hope they'll be able to make it. And just want to briefly mention, I was able to sit in on the stakeholders meeting that we had regarding our flood relief plans, and we identified our flood points, key flood points. Now we will put this up bigger. And also how we hope to obtain funding for that. And the data analysis that's being done, hopefully concluded in September. I appreciate being invited to that. I learned a lot sitting in on that. That's all I would put.
okay, thank you. Business development committee, tree advisory committee,
Yes, the Tree Advisory Council made 2 awards. We awarded the Tree Steward Award, first ever, to George Hyams and Hyams Garden Center. And we awarded a Canopy Tree Award to Joe and Pat Giacinto for their glorious sweet tea tree over on Darwin Street.
the James Island Intergovernmental Council, which is Wednesday, right? At 6.
Next Wednesday, yeah, the 26th.
So July 26th at 6, right?
7.
7. I'll have you early here. Traffic. And there still time for this on the agenda for council.
Yes, I've already set it.
You should have gotten request for the hours. All right, proclamations, resolution, none, ordinances up for first reading, ordinance 2022-05, ordinances is stating minimum work hour requirement for position mayor.
I'll have to drop it whereas I thought it was a good idea. Everyone other than public sectors, work a certain amount of hours, and I really didn't see the idea of setting a government official from what everyone else has to do. But fortunately, and I do appreciate, staff looked into the municipal association. And what made sense to me, it didn't make sense to them, if it was against the law, so, something that not able to be done. So there was another suggestion that had been made, and I might research those, I really understand. So I just wanted to let you know what my reason was for doing this, but it's something I cannot do, so. Drop that.
So there's no objection, nothing strong. Okay, next, we go to, new business, and so, the town administrator added this, new business, urban requalification vision edit. And so, to add this, it was public, I think public. Or you can consider this, but our rules require them to consider. So is there a motion to reconsideration at the agenda of this item?
I'm going to take for consideration.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Let it pass.
That's because, I was holding on to this for adding it next month so that I could have a better position to explain to you what they're trying to do, but, I learned just yesterday that they needed to get it done for their federal regulation requirements that they can get to meet to get their patents. But okay, I'll try and get it out. But basically, we have this cooperative agreement, as does every other, entity within Charleston County, except for the city of Charleston. They do their own. The cooperative agreement allows Charleston County as an urban county, that's what they're qualified as under federal regulations, to administer HUD funds on behalf of the towns. So we participate and have these cooperative agreements that would allow them to use these funds on our behalf. We have a seat on their advisory board, so whenever people make nonprofits make application to view projects that would be HUD funded, the town is a part of that group. It happens once a year. So everything remains the same. The addition that it has to be put in, and this is based on the HUD the HUD regulations. It is item 4 at the end, which describes how the grantee, so that's going to be Charleston County and us as a party of the general local government, will take actions necessary to assure compliance and implementation of Fair Housing Act and regulations, and will affirmatively further fair housing. So I understand this to mean that the urban county, Charleston County, as they administer this program, they have to meet these certain qualifications to show that they're doing this. It is not my understanding that the town itself needs to show how we are moving forward. It's an amazing idea, but not really quantifiable at our level because we are administering these funds regularly. The county is required to have planning processes and certifications, and they have renewals. So they are very closely monitored by the federal government as far as the use of these funds. So it's my understanding that with this amendment, it's not putting extra stress or work or potentially causing the town to not meet the standard that they're asking us to. I think that explained it.
They're both going to go through this amendment.
So moved.
Just a second. Any discussion?
So that we'll take actions necessary, but you're saying that would be really if undertaken at the county level?
Yes.
And we're not really be anything. Stuff about affirmative duties and things like
Right.
that is all carried out by them.
Yes.
It's not us.
Correct. I think it's said similarly how Charleston County administers the hazard mitigation plan for everyone within the county. So they are ultimately responsible for showing the documentation and that we meet all of the criteria. Town is one of those people or one of those entities. They do it on our behalf by way of this agreement.
Do we currently have somebody sitting on this board?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, very good, very good.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so that passes. Next, executive session. Then announcements, closing, comments.
Good to see everybody. Stay clean.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Thank you for all the hard work that you guys all do. Thank you for Charleston County Sheriff's Department. Thank you for our first responders. We appreciate you all.
Yes, I just want to try to remind everybody, to try to take lots of water. It's way too hot out there. I hope Mr. Johnson tells his public works guys to hydrate and stay in the shade as much as possible. It's a good week for training videos indoors. I just feel like it's really dangerous and hot out there. I hope the sheriff is also hydrated because it's sort of any cooler out there. So anyway, do what you can to keep cool.
Councilman Mullinex.
I just want to thank staff for everything that they do, and I especially want to thank Eddie for everything that she's looked into more fondly and got back with me, and been very helpful, helping me find courses for various issues. We help coordinate this before we go from Quayle, and so again, thanks to staff for everything they do.
Well, there's being no further business, the meeting is hereby.
It's close. Still hot.
I know, like next time we're gonna go. We can just.
There is.
Yeah, that might be very good thing. Yeah.
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 Laura.
It's a market fan, which
Running to every levels.
Yeah.
I'm